Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel, and welcome to another round of EFL Championship predictions. We're up to game week 35 now, and the league table's got a nice shape about it now because everybody's played the 34 games, everyone's caught up. I say this week is game week 35, it's actually a bit of a split. We've got the FA Cup, some teams still representing the Championship in the FA Cup, last 16 this weekend, so we've got a bit of a split fixture list. We've got a game on Friday night, 7 games on Saturday, and to make up the 12, the 4 games that have been postponed because of the FA Cup, if you like, are now taking place next Tuesday evening. So that we'll look at all 12 fixtures, but that's the way it's all split out this weekend. Quick look at the league table. Leeds, we had a wonderful game on Monday night to end last weekend's programme between Sheffield United and Leeds United. Leeds United coming out on top in the last sort of 10-15 minutes or so. They put the pressure on and got the two late winning goals, which was hard lines on Sheffield United because they really contributed to a wonderful game that was a tribute to the Championship, I thought. Sheffield United just seemed to run out of steam a little bit, and Leeds have just got that confidence about them. They can win from anywhere, really, they feel. 5 wins on the trot, and they're now 5 points clear at the top. And they really are now trying to erase the pain of last May at Wembley. And I don't think they'll be anywhere near the playoffs this year. They'll either be 1 or 2, and it's looking good for the Championship for them. But anything can change, as we know. 12 games to go. It's a few twitches can happen when you get close to any winning line, as we know. Sheffield United will be disappointed, as I say, but they'll bounce back, I'm sure. And Burnley put 4 past Sheffield Wednesday last Friday night. So still kept 0, so they're still on 9 goals conceded, quite incredible. But they are looking at Sheffield United in their sights at the moment, 2 points behind. Then at the bottom, Luton Town lost a local derby to Watford rather tamely, I have to say. Their fans weren't very happy. Well, they're not very happy generally at the moment, are they? With their side staring a double relegation in the face, really. You always think Luton were going to get out of it at some point, but now they find themselves 5 points adrift, and a new manager hasn't really had a desired effect. What you usually change your manager for. 8 games, I think it is now, without a win. And you can see on his face a little bit when his post-match interviews, it's starting to tell a bit. So he'll be looking to put that right perhaps this weekend. We'll look at their fixture a bit later. Derby and Plymouth occupy the other bottom places. Hull squeaked out of it, for now anyway, by an excellent 1-0 win at Sunderland. So we'll look at all that and review some of the other results as well. But let's get stuck into this weekend's matches. As I say, starts on Friday night with Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland, who, as I say, disappointingly, because they're in that top 4 bracket, if you like, still 11 points clear of the 5th place teams, or 5th place team and downwards. And they lost 1-0 at home to Hull. They haven't quite found that consistency again since that brilliant win at Middlesbrough the other week. They've sort of been a bit up and down since then. Sheffield Wednesday will be hurting after letting in 4 at Burnley, but no disgrace to lose to Burnley this season, of course, the way they're going about things. So I think this will be a tough game to call. I'm going to start by sitting on the fence this weekend, and we're going to say Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 1. Then we have the Saturday games, and as usual, 3 at 12:30 UK time. And we start off with Blackburn against Norwich. Norwich had a good 4-2 win over Stoke last weekend. Stoke also since lost midweek to Middlesbrough. So, we'll talk about them in a moment. But, so Blackburn against Norwich. Blackburn went down, surprisingly for me, last weekend anyway, 3-0 to Swansea. Swansea, of course, managerless, or they were. I think they still are. I haven't seen their new manager bounce yet. But talking of new managers, Blackburn do have a new head coach, Valerian Ismail. And fans of Barnsley, West Brom and Watford will know about him because he's managed them in the past. So he's got a good pedigree at this level. And he's the man that Blackburn have gone for. So we shall see how he steps into post, and I think it'll be a winning start for him this weekend, just about. You can never tell with Norwich, though. They could go up there and score 4 quite easily the way they play. But I'm going to take Blackburn to sneak it by 2-1. So Blackburn 2, Norwich City 1. Then we have Leeds United. As the song goes, Leeds go marching on at the moment. Leeds United are playing West Bromwich Albion, who are having an up and down time with Tony Mowbray at the start of his reign with them this time around. But they did have a decent 2-0 win at home to Oxford last weekend. And Leeds, as we know, had that brilliant win on Monday night to make sure they have some breathing space at the top. And I think that breathing space will be still there come the end of the weekend. I think they'll put West Bromwich Albion away quite comfortably, I think. I think they're just now, after that win, it should galvanise them just to go through these 12 games and get the necessary points to take the championship. But who knows? Leeds United 3, West Brom 0 is my take on the Saturday game for this weekend. Then we have the third 12:30 match on Saturday, which is Oxford against Coventry. Coventry are flying at the moment. They have, I think they've won 5 out of the last 6. And the last of those was a 2-1 win at home to Preston, who are always difficult to beat, but Coventry overcame them. And Oxford have had a little bit of a dip since the initial good start by Gary Rowett, or the response to Gary Rowett going in. No win in the last 6 in the current form table. And they went down, as I say, quite comfortably to West Brom last weekend. I think Coventry's confidence and their general sort of where they are with life at the moment will be too much for Oxford on the day as well this weekend. I'm going to take Coventry to take the points. Oxford United 1, Coventry City 2. Coventry just outside that playoff zone now, with West Brom and Blackburn clinging on by their fingernails in the top 6. Then we have Luton, as I mentioned at the start, right at the bottom still. A poor performance last weekend. The fans were just more 2-0 down very early on. No real not effort, but no real sense of getting back into the game, unfortunately. And Luton are really in a bit of a pickle at the moment. 5 points now away from that safety line. Not the time of season to be letting a gap grow. So they definitely don't want that to happen, get any bigger. In fact, they need to win. They need to, of these 12 matches, they need to win at least half of them, don't they? I believe. So we shall see. And they're home to Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth have pulled away a little bit. They can't get complacent, but 3 wins on the bounce, including a much-needed away win in that 3 at Oxford the other week. And last weekend, they scrapped their way to a 2-1 home win over Queen's Park Rangers. They went 2-0 up quite comfortably, and then let one in, and then the second half was a bit of a nail-biter, I think, as I understand it, for Portsmouth. But they held out, as they've been doing, showing sterner stuff these days. And their home record has been fabulous since really the autumn. Once they've got into the winning mentality at home, they've driven that through. So, but Luton have to win a match soon, and I think this is a chance. They really need to go out there on the front foot, give it a go. So a bit of a surprise prediction, maybe. I'm going to take Luton to put Portsmouth away, or take the points against Portsmouth at least. Luton Town 2, Portsmouth 1. Then we have Middlesbrough, have had a bit of an up and down week since we last spoke, or since I last did the last predictions. They went down to Bristol City last Friday night, and that was a good game as well, even though I've said on here sometimes that Bristol City have sort of flattered to deceive a little bit in their league position and everything else. But they certainly played well last Saturday, I'm saying Tuesday. Last Friday even, I'll get it right in a minute. Last Friday night under the lights, Ashton Gate, good win. Bristol City came back from behind. They didn't really turn it around because they were always in a good place in the match, I felt. Middlesbrough so went away from that game a little bit, feeling a little bit sorry for themselves. Picked themselves up though to go to a tricky game on paper at Stoke. and pull out a 3-1 win midweek. So it's one of the catch-up games that was still outstanding. So they've had, as I say, they've picked up the 3 points at Stoke, and I think they'll pick up 3 more points here. They're home to Derby County. As I say, Derby really struggling just even to score a goal at the moment. It's really unfortunate the way their season's really gone flat from a promising start in life in the Championship, but it's now just sort of dipped away completely. And they went down to Millwall, very unluckily. When you're down, you're down. It was the 90 plus 5th minute, I believe, something like that. Yeah, it was as late as that against Millwall. So Middlesbrough, I think, will put Derby away. Middlesbrough 2, Derby County 0. 2 more on the Saturday. First of those involves Sheffield United. Now, as I say, they'll be wanting to pick themselves up after their deflating defeat against Leeds. It was looking like a one-each draw for all many until Leeds turned on the style in the last 10 minutes or so, including a wonderful goal in stoppage time as well to clinch it 3-1. So Sheffield United want to recover from that. I'm sure they will. Chris Wilding won't let them do it any other way. Queen's Park Rangers, as I say, lost out in a battle down at Fratton Park. And they were looking to nudge the playoff line. Now they've got a 7-point gap to make up, which is a lot over 12 games with so many other teams involved. That's the issue here. There's so many teams doing the same thing in that crowded mid-table area. It's so difficult to get the run and the points you need to close gaps. So I think Sheffield United will turn up. They'll have put Monday night behind them. They're still in a great position to go up automatically. So I think they'll take the points. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Sheffield United 3. Then we have the final game on the Saturday, which is Stoke City against Watford. As I say, Watford went and put away their neighbours last weekend, Sunday I think it was, 2-0, and Stoke went down to Norwich. So both of these sides licking wounds from last weekend, and I think that will be borne out in the result of the match. I can't see much between these two, so I'm going to give it a Stoke City 1, Watford 1. So that's the weekend, but we move, it's still not the end of game week 35, because we go to Tuesday evening, and we have 4 outstanding matches to make up. The first of those is Cardiff City against Burnley. Burnley, as I say, fresh from a 4-0 win. They will have had knowledge, obviously, of what Sheffield United have done, and Leeds to that matter, by the time they play, which may or may not be an advantage, because Sheffield United could be 5 points clear of them by the time they play, and that starts to feel like a bit of a gap. Well, it is, but you know what I mean. But they'll have this game in hand, or this game to play, down at Cardiff. Cardiff had a decent draw down at Plymouth. It didn't mean Plymouth didn't gain on them, which is all important at this time of season as well. Sometimes you just got to play out a draw and think, okay, you're not going to gain on us, and we still keep our status quo, depending what position you're in, of course. But I think Cardiff will find it tricky, as everyone has done against Burnley, even to get a goal, never mind win a match. So I think it's going to be Cardiff City 0, Burnley 1. Burnley to take that one. Then we have a real cracker of a match, potentially at the bottom of the table, or certainly a high stakes match at the bottom of the table. It's Hull City against Plymouth Argyle. So Plymouth will have already been to Manchester on the weekend. I'm not sure when it is, over the weekend in the FA Cup, so they may well stay up north and perhaps get them sights set on this match at Hull rather than having to travel all the way up and back down the West Country. So we shall see, but I think it's going to be a tough one. Although Plymouth have had this upturn in form, which has given them a real chance of staying up. They're 5 points behind Stoke, but Hull are their immediate target, who are 3 points ahead of them. So this is why this match is so big. Unfortunately, Plymouth have had some heavy defeats, as we know, this season, and their goal differences are going to let them down a bit. Because even if they were to win this game, they wouldn't leapfrog Hull. But I think Hull will take the match. I think Hull need to back up that excellent win at Sunderland last week. That's what you need to do when you have a result like that, and I think they will. I'm going to take Hull City to win by 2-0. Hull 2, Plymouth 0. 2 to go, and it's the first of those is Millwall against Bristol City. As I say, Bristol City had an excellent 2-1 win against Middlesbrough to briefly give them a place in the top 6, but that was obviously overtaken by the rest of the weekend's events, and they currently sit 8th, but just 2 points behind 5th place, who are on the same points as West Brom, who are on the same points as Blackburn, who are 6th, Coventry 50, Bristol City 49, and then this whole host of clubs waiting to pounce if these sides shouldn't continue their form. Millwall, I think 6 points with so many teams involved might be too much, but they'll still have a sniff. They'll still have a belief they can get into the top 6. But I think Bristol City have really got to, this is make or break, but they've really got to make a statement and say, right, we had a good win last week. Let's go down to Millwall, a very tricky place to go, but let's set ourselves out and get this game won. I think they will. Perhaps that's a bit heart over head. But I'm going to take Millwall to go down to Bristol City. So I'm going to take Millwall 1, Bristol City 2. And finally on Tuesday night, to round off this game week, we have Preston North End against Swansea City. As I say, Swansea had this, to me anyway, a surprise 3-0 home win over Blackburn, who were going well. And Preston went down to Coventry. As I say, Coventry had really found some form under Frank Lampard of late, and Preston found it a little bit too much and went down, as I say. But I think they'll bounce back here. Preston, again, possibly anyone could argue that they are them and Swansea, maybe, these two sides may well be the only sides with almost nothing to play for, in as much they can't go up nor down. I think Preston 9 points with so many teams involved is too much, and they're 12 points clear of the playoffs at the relegation zone. And Swansea likewise 10 points clear of relegation and 11 points away from the playoffs. So they could be thinking a little bit now about summer vacations and stuff, although it's only February. But anyway, one match then that perhaps doesn't mean a great deal to either side. Professional pride, but not in the sort of reaction in the table. But I think Preston will home advantage will count here, and they want to keep up their decent form of late. Preston North End 2, Swansea 0. So there we have it. That's it for game week 35. Only after that, just 11 games to go, and then we've got the Easter period in there as well, where two or three games come along very quickly, don't they? So this season will soon be coming to its real climax. Please enjoy your football this weekend. Plenty going on. I say FA Cup in the background as well. The Championship, full programme there enough. So plenty to watch, plenty to keep up with, and plenty on this channel. So please subscribe and like the videos that are on here. Subscribe to the channel. Get your friends, mum, parents, pets, anybody, anything. Click the button for a subscription. It's fantastic work these guys do. I just play a very small bit part in doing this. So have a great weekend, everybody. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, and thanks for watching.